Speaking of strength, look at CBS. We just move over here to this part of the Post. CBS is moving higher, up nearly 1% right now. At this time yesterday, CBS was actually falling. 2 hours earlier yesterday, it had been at about a 2.5-year high. So it's been volatile, but right now it's continuing to move higher. It's pretty significant. Viacom, though, the company where CBS basically said, we don't want anything to do with Viacom. Take a look at Viacom. It's struggling to at least stay in the green at the moment. But the fact that it's struggling speaks volumes about what's really going on with that company. Slightly recovering today after tanking in yesterday's trade on the news that CBS and the merger with it is now officially in the dust. Now, even the S&P credit analysts are questioning Viacom's creditworthiness as a standalone company. Can Viacom, without a merger, stand alone? I want to bring in Keach Hagey. She's a Wall Street Journal reporter who's been living and breathing this story. Keach, you've got some great write-throughs on this story and what you've been breaking here. Let's get to that. You know, when the ratings agencies, including Moody's, who had said, you know what, if they merge with CBS, we'll raise their credit rating. Since it didn't happen, they're not doing that. Does Viacom have to do something? Does it have to get to the altar with someone, some company?
Well, the other thing that happened yesterday is that Bob Bakish became the permanent CEO of Viacom. And, you know, he has made a strong case that Viacom can survive as a standalone company. We haven't yet heard the full plan publicly. I think they're sort of scrambling to finish that up. So in January, I think we'll all be listening for what that's going to be. Surely there are a lot of people out there expecting Viacom to look to bulk up in some way.
Okay, so you've got to look at this and say, this company needs to do something. You know, their Paramount unit, they had the Office Party movie. It's done well, but it still hasn't done as well as what it should be doing. La La Land. I mean, I'm wondering, Keach, what is your reporting showing as to the type of company? I know you don't want to name names. I mean, Reuters naming a whole bunch of names of European operations where they could jump in and say, let me hook up with that company. But what type of company should Viacom be looking at?
Well, one of the things that, you know, Bakish has been spending the last decade overseas, so he understands the overseas market a lot better maybe even than some of his competitors. And so I think it's very smart to look overseas at some of the big satellite players in Europe. Also, digital is going to be a big focus. Viacom wasn't really able to pull the trigger on a big digital acquisition in the last few years. A lot of people are sort of expecting it to do something like that pretty soon.
Bob Bakish is now the CEO. He took over from the interim CEO, Tom Dooley, and then before that, of course, Philippe Delman, who was kind of pushed out. I'm wondering if Bob Bakish is the guy. He was running the international network and media properties like Nickelodeon Europe and MTV. Is he really the guy?
Well, Sherry Redstone certainly thinks that he is. You know, folks close to her have said that she was really incredibly impressed by his short, so far, tenure, his strategy and ideas. So I think he's going to have a decent runway to prove himself.
Keach, I'm going to ask a question that may be a little uncomfortable, but we cover not just the horse, but we cover the jockey. And I need to know who the jockey is of Viacom. Is Sumner Redstone, who is the patriarch of Viacom, is he really engaged in running the show, or is it really all Sherry at this point? Because there have been so many questions. Is he there? Is he compos mentis? What is going on with the head of this giant that you have discovered and found out in your reporting?
Well, we saw yesterday the letter from National Amusements had both Sumner and Sherry's signatures on it. It was a pretty interesting data point. You know, he's 93 years old and not in great health. I don't think that there's anything controversial about that, and that Sherry has been playing a really much more hands-on role over the last year, and she is a far more powerful figure than she's ever been in the past.
And so therefore we think what of this, that he is the one, and I don't mean to be indelicate here, but we've all read the stories about Sumner Redstone. Is somebody prompting him to do these things, or is he really deciding, okay, we got to move forward, we got to make this acquisition, we got to be in digital more heavily?
So there is also a lawsuit happening right now. There's actually a filing the same day yesterday where these same questions that have been circling for a year are continuing to circle, and there are folks that are trying to have him be deposed in the next few weeks. That's very unlikely to happen, but that we may all just get an answer very soon.
Keach, great to see you. Great work on the reporting. Everybody's reading the Journal on this one, so thank you so much.